and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
Time to time, we all have need of a real good one. Your talkback lawyer, David Whiting, joins you now, well-known Melbourne solicitor and the man who sits in this seat of a Tuesday and takes your calls. David, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia.
How's your week been?
I had a client with a commercial problem last week that took a fair chunk of the weekend, so it's been less restful than it might otherwise have been.
Was the commercial problem solved?
I don't know. In the next hour it will be
next
solved.
hour?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
I basically said to someone, can I have the letter by 9:30 when you leave the office? No, but you can, if my client approves it, you can have it at 11 when I get back. That's what I said. Yep.
Well, we'll find
We'll
out
see.
what happens
Yes.
there. Is it a do-or-die situation, this one?
None of them are do or die. It's a question of could it be worse, I think is the question. Yep.
It can always be worse. Got any news for me?
I have a couple of items that struck my eye. Is that Sam Aziz is the former mayor of Casey. There are lots of questions asked about Sam's conduct during the course of the IBAC hearings into planning decisions being undertaken at Casey. And there was a report in the paper yesterday where Sam Aziz had sued someone alleging that he had been defamed. And of course defamation is about statements that are made that diminish your character. And in this particular case the matter settled. And because it settled, there was no determination by hearing, and the payment made to Sam was $80,000.
$80,000.
He would like it back, please, on the basis that presumably on the basis that all of the statements being made by witnesses at IBAC have a significantly greater adverse effect on Mr. Aziz's reputation.
We better be careful
That's
here.
why I'm dancing lightly.
You are dancing, yeah. We're not casting nasturtiums on anyone's reputation here this morning.
But it would be difficult. It would be difficult to get
Yes.
it back because you're settled.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
But we've seen this before where people have come back and said, oh, hang on a minute, the good character that this person has relied on clearly has fallen down in a heap
In other
around
situations,
him or
yes,
her.
you have. Yep.
Yes. So therefore, that doesn't stand. But, yeah, I don't think he can go back to the well. I think it's...
No. And the other one is the Royal Commission, the Nicola Gobbo Royal Commission,
Yes.
where we're talking about, and of course she's on the 7:30 report tonight.
She is.
And a month ago she was saying that she wouldn't be in a fit state to give evidence to the Commission.
That's right.
I don't doubt that the Royal Commission would be somewhat more arduous than the 7:30 report, but I think that argument's gone out the door.
It has. And someone raised on text this morning, and it's a fair point, why couldn't she give evidence via video anyway? I mean, at the very least.
Yes. Well, I thought it was to be by telephone. The advice that the medical reports indicated she wouldn't be in a fit state to give any evidence, certainly in any short time frame.
Jade in Montmorency loves our talkback lawyer theme there and says, bah-ha-ha-ha, bah-ha-ha-ha is how you write someone, falling down laughing.
Yes.
Love it. I can't imagine David Whiting rocking out to the cruel sea, but that was the best music intro ever. I can imagine you rocking out to the cruel sea.
I'll take that as a question on note.
What was your preferred pop or rock music when you were a younger man, David?
Oh, this is embarrassing. I was into more boppy stuff.
Like?
I quite liked. I really liked American Pie, Don McLean kind of
yes.
stuff. So it was that kind of
Bit
almost with a country bend.
a bit folksy, a bit
Yes,
country.
yeah,
Okay. Woody
yeah.
Guthrie, that kind of stuff?
That was a bit.
That's a bit
country
too folksy
me.
for you.
Yeah.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young?
Yes,
That kind of
quite
thing?
like their stuff.
Moody Blues?
Yeah, I had some of the Moody Blues stuff.
Oh, no, I've got-
Dire Straits stuff.
I've got you pegged.
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
good.
I really like a country singer from Townsville, whose name escapes me at the moment. I'll put my foot in there. He's
I wish I could say it for you. If it comes to...
a little further north each year. Never mind.
right.
Someone will tell us.
And if it pops into your head, you
Yes.
tell us. Any homework from last week?
One was Vanessa from Blackburn, who was a psychologist, and she's receiving requests for medical reports.
Yes, this is interesting.
Access to medical records.
Yep.
The answer would be that health information includes information or an opinion about physical, mental or psychological health, a disability, expressed wishes, So the answer would be, I'm really very sorry, but on my reading of the Health Records Act, it covers psychologists and you can be compelled to hand over your notes.
I would have thought so.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. All right. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework, but of course we won't reconvene until the new year, but I'd like an answer to this. So, on my passport, I used to say, I don't know if it still does say, I'll go home and check. Please provide this person with passage through your country without let or hindrance. I know the hindrance bit, don't hinder me. Don't let, what was it? What does a let mean in the legal context?
But perhaps they might mean exactly the same thing.
You mean let her? Oh, no. It's a redundancy, isn't it?
Yes. Lawyers are very good at redundancy.
Yes.
Give, devise and bequeath.
Yes. It'll do. That's right.
Yep. When they all mean give.
Right.
But, yes. So I don't know, but I'll take it as a research point.
Thank you. Another research point. And if you'd like David Whiting to assist you, well, now is your opportunity. 1300 222 774 is the number. Phil in Frankston, you are first cab off the rank. Good morning.
G'day. Good morning. First of all, is it Graham Connors to whom you're referring?
It is Graham Connors.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yes.
Glad we got that.
Oh, thank you.
glad we solved
See,
that,
I mean,
yes.
first go, we get to answer this question. I love my listeners. Go ahead, Phil.
That's all right. I'm hoping you can return serve with helping me.
Let's see.
Now, I'm calling on behalf of a friend. He has gone through...
Oh, yeah, that's what they all say, Phil.
Well, in this case, that is true.
Okay.
A rather protracted and therefore, by definition, expensive family court issue.
Yes.
It's just about reaching the point where the the lawyer and the judge will retreat to their chambers and write up the notes.
Yep.
If I recall correctly, and I may well have misheard, have you indicated in the past, David, that there is the option of procuring life insurance for said judge in the event that, something happens to them and they are then
And we have
able
to run this thing again.
Yes.
Can I say it's a request that you make of the court? It's not an automatic right.
Okay.
Right, so there were a
couple.
couple of cases that were run last year that had something like 100 sitting days. Can you imagine the investment that's been made in a case like that?
Oh,
So-
I don't want to. I mean,
No.
this in itself is $60,000-$70,000 in a...
So there is the possibility if you come
But
along
what
and
would,
say...
what would the insurance get you? I mean, it's still not going to magic up a judge
No,
who's heard all the evidence.
It's the cost of running it again. Okay. So...
Yeah, now with that said, because...
No, very
Okay,
quickly,
so-
Phil, I've got a full border
no,
clause. You can't get
understood.
two bites of the apple.
How was that request put forward?
Okay.
The two sets of lawyers would say, we've got a concern that there might be a delay in the delivery of judgment. Can we take out a life insurance policy on your life?
And it's up to the
judge
court.
can say no.
The judge can say no, and that's the
Yeah.
end of it?
Yes.
Okay. Good on you. Thanks for calling in, Phil. Nan has called us from Mornington Peninsula. Hello, Nan.
Hello.
Go ahead.
I have two of my children as executors on my will, and
Yes.
one of them is dying, and
Yes.
I want to know, do I have to remake the will, or is there a codicil I can add to it, or whatever?
You could add a codicil. Do you want to remove the son or do you want to replace the son?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Well, if he was to die before taking on the role,
He will. He will
then-
be dying at Christmas time or soon
rightio,
after.
then the will be read as if his name didn't appear in that paragraph. All right?
Okay.
So the probate of Nan's will has been granted to John, the co-executor Fred, having predeceased the deceased.
Nan, that's a very distressing situation for your family to be in. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, it's not pleasant, but
No.
it's a fact.
So if you want to replace the son and put somebody else in his place, then you can do that by way of a codicil. If you recognise that you are happy with the other child properly administering the estate, then that works fine. Now,
Okay.
if you have left something to that son, then there are a series of rules about who gets what. So if the son has children, then unless your will specifically says no, your son's children will get what your son would have got.
Yeah, well, that's already in it, so
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
no worries.
All right, Nan. All the best to you and your family through Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Alan is in McLeod today. Alan, hi. What's your question for David?
My question, excuse me, my question resolves around bodies corporate and owners corporation. Is an owner's corporation permitted to own property, for example, plant and equipment or vehicles or tools of gardening, etc.?
The answer to that is yes.
Well, that just mucked me up completely.
Well, there's a test as to whether it's appropriate, but they can buy whatever they need to fulfil the functions that they have.
What's the problem here, Alan?
It's a bit of a controversy amongst a couple of people. That's not a big deal.
So, and whether it was necessary, I mean, I can see owners' corporations that have 300 and 400 units in them. Some kind of vehicle might be appropriate for them.
Good luck.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Alan.
much.
Marie in Windsor's got a really interesting one. It's an insurance question. Hi, Marie.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Fire away.
Yes, I have a question about recently I had keys stolen from my mailbox. I live in a block.
You had what stolen?
My
Keys.
keys.
Yep. Keys stolen.
Keys.
from the
Sorry,
letter.
I'm mishearing. Keys, yes. Mm-hmm.
Apartment key and a car key.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in a block of apartments. And I've spoken to my insurance company about I've had to get new fobs, etc. I've spoken to them about making a claim on my household insurance, and they're telling me because there's a car key involved that I actually need to claim that through my car insurance rather than household. I don't want to do that because I have a heavy excess on my car insurance.
Yes.
And I have none on my household insurance, and I don't think it's got anything to do with my car.
There are a couple of issues that you've got, Mari, and the first is that it will all depend on what your product disclosure statements say for both policies. But as a general proposition, if there are two insurance policies that cover the same loss, you would normally need to make a claim on both of them, and there would be a contribution paid by both.
Oh, I see.
Right,
Okay.
so, it's sort of, you might have two lots of travel insurance where they don't pay twice. So you need to look and see. Mind you,
So
I
it
would
gets
be a little bit
divided between the
terrified
two.
that you've put your apartment key and your
Yes.
house key inside the letterbox.
That's the broader question. They
Yes.
probably shouldn't have been there, Marie. Is your house safe? Have you changed the locks?
It's a locked mailbox that's inside our foyer, accessible for the mail people. From the outside, they don't come in. So they put it through a slot, and then we access our locked mailboxes from inside.
So you suspect it was a male person?
It's possible. Lots of people
It
like
could
that.
be anyone, Virginia.
No, but the broader question is, have you changed the locks on your house? Because now your security is compromised at home.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
All right.
I've looked after all of that.
Okay. It's the
Mara,
only
you need
insurance
to
claim.
read the insurance policy,
Yep.
which you can download from their website and see what's excluded and why.
Marie, good luck with that. Sam in Mulgrave, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia and David. Just like to say at the outset, big fan of the Cruel Sea, and I love that update to David's theme.
You are most welcome. I claim responsibility for that entirely.
Beautiful work. Perry Mason meets Tex Perkins.
Yep, I thought it was pretty good too.
I went looking for alternatives, Sam, and I've got to tell you, I couldn't find one.
Exactly. Go ahead with your question, Sam.
Okay, unfortunately my stepmother died about 2 months ago. She lived in Queensland.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to find out how do you find out if you're a beneficiary in her will?
Right.
When
Do
it's
you
read.
know who the executor is?
I don't, David, no.
Do you know who's likely to be the executor?
I believe it may be her niece.
The law in Victoria says that if you are named in a will or
Yep.
have been named in a previous will or are a child of the deceased, and
Yes.
I'm including it for the assumption at the moment includes stepchildren, you are
Right.
entitled to a copy of the will.
Right.
All right? Did she
How many
only...
months?
Beg your pardon?
How long does that take, David? It's been a couple of months now, so I'm just wondering
Well,
if I'm jumping the gun.
you're entitled to get one upon request. There's no positive obligation to provide them to all and sundry.
All right.
So you request. What I would suggest you do is search probate records in Brisbane. Probate records in Brisbane can be searched electronically, so you want to know if somebody's made an application for probate or advertised an application for probate.
She was on the Sunshine Coast, so will that still be in Brisbane?
It's still Queensland.
Okay.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
Sam, you say it's your mother-in-law.
Stepmother.
Stepmother, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, stepmother, okay.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that an inheritance is coming your way?
Well, yes. My father was very wealthy when he passed away, and we believe that he had left aside property for his 4 children, which didn't eventuate.
Well, Sam, let's put it a different way. Do you know who the lawyers were who acted on your father's estate when he died?
I don't, but I have a copy of that will, so perhaps I could find out.
I would start there because it's quite likely it's the same lawyers.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point, David.
As a stepchild in law, in inheritance and will law, does Sam have a chance here?
It's dependent upon the law where the person was domiciled when she died. So it's a question of what does Queensland sort of say. Right. And what Sam's question is there something for me in the will? Yeah. And that's where I would start.
Good luck, Sam.
That's great. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Amanda in Pakenham, another power of attorney question. Hi, Amanda.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I hope it's straightforward. Look, I have powers of attorney, medical and legal, enduring powers of attorney, naming 2 members of my family, 2 of my children as the people in it.
How old is the document, Amanda?
Oh, it would have been done about 2014, 2015.
Okay, because the rules changed in 2016 on the basis of a law introduced in 2015. And had it been done by the new documentation, you could have simply, if you're just taking A out and putting B in, you could have retyped it.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'd like to get it checked, but you could simply start by retyping it. Because of the law change, there are new forms that you need. You can download a set of the required forms from the website of the Public Advocate.
Right.
And there's a guide there. What you end up with is, because they've come up with a form that's for all purposes, it's about 3 times longer than one would be if you were to do it clean. But you can download a form from there.
And I can just DIY that and change it.
Well, download and make a new one.
Oh, fantastic.
All right. One of the difficulties you've got, though, is that there are specific requirements for one of the witnesses in the document needs to be a person who can take an affidavit in Victoria. So I would go to the Magistrates Court, probably at Dandenong, to get it witnessed.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Good luck. Bye. Maureen is in Aspendale Gardens. Hello, Maureen.
Hi, guys. David, you're a man of my own heart. I love Don McLean's American Pie. It's a great groovy shop.
Yep. Did you say it was groovy?
Yeah, groovy. Great dance music. Great dance music.
Oh, dear. Okay. All right. I'll let that one pass.
Just wanted to ask you about rent arrears. I'm sure that's come up before. We've got some tenants in our house. I guess we've been a little bit generous with them when they got behind. We put arrangements in place to have their employer pay the rent direct to our account.
Yes.
There are over 1,000 in arrears for this year, and they've indicated to us that they can't pay the rent for 2 weeks in December. Yes. And I guess our patience is running out a little bit to say, what are our options? What can we do? Can we give them notice to say move out?
Yes, you can. Well, I don't know that you can give them notice on the basis of an anticipated breach. Right. You can give them notice on the basis of an existing breach. But my uncertainty in what you're putting to me is that I would feel more comfortable knowing precisely what the deal is in relation to the arrears. So you may have, you've got a lease, but then you varied the lease to accommodate them in some way. So let's treat that as an amendment to the lease, and if they're in arrears in the rent, then you're able to give them a notice bringing it to an end.
Okay. We didn't vary our lease at all. We simply accepted, but we communicated with them the whole time that we were unhappy that they were in arrears, but I guess we were compassionate to their circumstances, that
Maureen,
they were struggling.
if all you've done is simply not take any action in relation to their defaults to date, then there would be nothing to prevent you serving notice on them to vacate.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Now, in the event that you do that, when the time has expired, and there are really strict rules in the Residential Tenancies Act as to that, if you comply with all of those requirements, you then issue an application at VCAT for possession.
Is that what you want to do?
Look, I guess our patience has run out a bit, but we're also compassionate to their situation. But it's a deceased estate, so we're trying to do the right thing.
So, Maureen, why would you not, I mean, I'm really conscious that we're coming up to Christmas. Why would you not sit down and say, well, why not give them a notice that expires on the 6th of January or something like that? Because I would be worried about your ability to get a tenant, or I suppose you're putting the property on the market for sale?
We're thinking about that, yes.
But
it's in country Victoria, so we are seeing some movement there, and we are thinking about that, yes.
Right. Well, if the proposal is that the property is to be put on the market for sale, you can give them a 60-day notice, but in which case there's not much you can do. So I would be if I was looking to be compassionate, I'd hate to give them a notice today that finished on Christmas Eve.
But if you give them a 60-day notice now, coming to Christmas, and also they know they're being tipped out then, you've got Buckley's of getting any money between.
And we're conscious of that too,
So I would be
you've got to write that one off.
It's not something you would keen to do the week before Christmas, but I'd probably serve them the notice next week and give them until early January, I think, is the reasonable, generous compromise.
All right.
All right. That sounds like a difficult series of conversations or notices to serve, but good on you, Maureen. Thank you. Robin's in Berwick. Hello.
Virginia, hello, and David, good morning. My question's about conflict of information being given out to people about the landline, the fact that we have to give up our landlines.
Yes, with the NBN.
Change over, to the NBN.
Yep.
I have reluctantly, but I have a number of friends who haven't been changed over yet and really do not want to lose what they have. No, they do not have mobiles, do not have or want computers. It's the usual.
You don't have to have a computer.
That's right, but
you get the NBN connected and you can connect a telephone to it.
Yes, but the point is, David, that a friend has been told by a certain big major telephone company,
one of the big ones,
lately, that they do not have to change over to the NBN.
Well, my understanding of the NBN is that you get a period of 18 months to transfer.
But no, he's been told that by the person in the city who's a manager at this particular company that I'm trying not to
name. We are grateful for that. Yep.
No, you do not have to change. You do not have to do anything. You can stay as you are. And a number of people I speak to are very worried about this, as I was, but you hold your breath and hope that everything will work out.
I'm sorry. The whole deal is that the copper wire system, or the phones connected to the copper wire system, will, after a period of time, cease to be connected.
Well, this is contradictory, David, because bushfire zones are not required to, emergency services are not required to, apparently, and this person has been told, this friend, no, you don't have to change over either. And another friend independently has said,
Then I would be, Robin, I'd be getting it in writing.
Right.
Because everything that I've ever read or heard is that you get plenty of notice. And so you don't have to move today, but at some point you do.
Well, I think that you do is the questionable point.
Okay. So, Robin,
Virginia, could you take this up at some point?
Look, we've gone over this a number of times, and you're right, actually. It does actually seem to be contradictory information. I think we might turn this into one of our spotlights. From time to time, we're going to put a big spotlight on a particular issue. So, yes, I think that's a fair request, Robin, and I will do that.
Thank you,
Might
Virginia.
not get it done before Christmas, but maybe in the new year.
That's fine.
Good
Thank
on
you, David.
Hi. Dave's in Harriettville. Hello.
Oh, g'day. Thanks for taking my call. I have a computer that had a battery recall because I was sent an email saying that the battery is dangerous. They've offered to replace the battery. However, since then, a number of airlines have refused to carry that computer on board.
Even though the battery is replaced?
Yes. So because not every computer is affected and not everyone are replacing the battery. So they've just done a blanket ban. That particular computer is banned from flight.
How many times have you been stopped from boarding?
I haven't, but
You
I'm
haven't?
planning to head overseas and I need it for work. And the issue that I've got is I don't want to be stopped, basically. And
Dave, I just don't see it working for you.
How do you mean?
There was a lady who was refused flight on a American Airlines flight last week because Satan was on the front of her T-shirt, and the airline wouldn't let her fly. Do we extend your argument to say, well, she had to get her money back from the T-shirt?
They didn't let her fly because they believed that she was Satan? Is that the...
No, I don't think the answer would be, that's we don't promote him. I think is the Prince of Darkness does not get front page.
Are you still there?
Dave, you've got a computer that works, right?
I have a computer that works. However, they've told me that my particular computer is dangerous and I should turn it off and not use it anymore.
So who is they?
Yeah, who said that?
If the manufacturer says...
The manufacturer.
If the manufacturer says... And how long have you had it?
I've had it since 2017.
I would be saying, well, then I want my money back.
Well, I've asked for that. I've asked for a replacement of a new model that isn't banned. If you've received advice that the computer that you've received is unsafe, and you've got that from the manufacturer, then I would be looking at an application to VCAT to say, it's less than 2 years old. You now tell me it's not safe. I can't use it. So therefore, I want the contract set aside. Okay. So, they've made it very difficult for me. I'm
sure they have.
The
last thing I would want to do is pay out on tens of thousands of computers.
Sure.
Oh, Dave.
Right, thank you.
That's a tricky one. I guess whatever you do, don't turn up with that computer if you want to get it on board. Although, I mean, how's that really going to work in reality, David?
In reality, they do not know. In reality,
Exactly.
the people who do the screening at the airport are not the airline.
Have no idea. And that's where your computer goes through. It's the only place it gets seen, and they're not looking at it anyway. Or if it's taken out of its bag and put in one of those trays, that's all they care about. So.
Yes.
But at the same time, we don't want dangerous computers turning up on planes.
Well, certainly not on my flight. No.
No, not while you're wearing a Satan T-shirt, mate.
No.
David Whiting, have a lovely Christmas and break, and I'll see you in the new year.
The same. Thank you.
David Whiting, Melbourne solicitor.